right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Aquatic Morning Show, where the aquarists go to be in the know on the Aquatic Morning Show. This morning, we have got Zach from Vivvy joining us. Good morning, Zach.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Excited you're able to join us this morning. Got lots of questions.
I'm very excited to be here.
I'm going to run through and tell everybody hello this morning that is already in chat, and then we will start the program. Mystery Snail Guardians helping us snail it from the start. Good morning, Annette. Joseph Stanley, good morning. Good to see you. You don't get in here very often anymore, nor does Sandy Farrell. Good morning, Sandy. And there's my bestest mod, Miss Lori, throwing out all the links this morning. Dennis Christensen, good morning. The Nano Aquarium guy, good morning. 3G, Greg, what's up? He's in lurking mode. He builds boats, so he lurks while he builds the boats. Let's see. Oh, just Riddis Das, good morning. Riddis became a new member yesterday. Thank you for that, Riddis. Brickley Bell, good morning. Homeschooling your daughter. Be in chat. Yes, be in chat. Miss Susan, SLC Aquatics, good to see you. Long time no see. All right. Is about 4 minutes in, got 15 people here. We can just chit chat for about 10 minutes and then we should have about 30 people in here and give every time for the notification to go out. And everybody will jump in here. Is usually how it works. So, Zach, where are you at right now?
Oh, I am in Southern California in Mission Viejo in Orange County. You can sort of see the sun's just coming up over here.
Yes.
About 20 minutes ago, it was all dark outside. So I'm looking, I'm like, oh, look, there's sun.
Yeah, because there's a 2-hour time difference between me and you.
2 hour, yeah.
7 o'clock your time?
That is correct.
Yes. Yep. It's 9 o'clock our time. I do feel lucky that since I'm in Houston, I didn't have to change a time, go to a different time. That really messed me up.
I lived in Arizona for a long time growing up, and Arizona doesn't change times ever, right?
Uh-huh.
So when I finally moved away as an adult, and I'm like, what's this, like an hour either way? Like, I knew it happened, but once you do it, it's like, when is it? I don't know. At least my phone does it for me.
Right. Yes. And then if you're on a plane, your phone still does it for you.
Yeah. So
catches up.
I'm old enough. I was a rep back in the day when phones didn't do it for you. So we had Blackberries in, 05, 06, 07.
Yeah.
And we'd have to go in and update them all. And yeah, that was what a pain.
Right.
Having to actually think for yourself. Overrated.
I know, right? Seems like it was so long ago.
Yeah.
Eric Wyrock, good morning. Craig Doniger, Craig's Catfish Cave. And then Shelby. Good morning, Shelby. And Alex, what's up? Good morning, Alex. And we've got some fishery today. New ones anyway. From Alex. And let's see. Oh, Sharpie. Good to see you, Sharpie. He's from the other side, across the ocean. Big fish. Let's see. I feel like I missed somebody. But if I did, you guys know to just throw it back down in the bottom and I will catch you. All right. They're already laughing at you, Zach. Shelby and Grant.
That's pretty standard.
That's okay. Let's have some fun, right? Well, I hope everybody has got their coffee. We have got about 22 people in here now, so we will go ahead and start with Zach, who is from Vivvy. He is the sales rep. And Zach, I'm going to let you go ahead and explain what Vivvy is to those who have no clue what it is.
Yeah, no, Vivvy, we're pretty new. So as I've been going to shows lately and everything, that's the question I get is, what are you? What do you do?
Right.
And in short terms, the answer is Vivvy is a new online aquatic livestock marketplace. And kind of how we describe it to your layman's person is, sort of like Etsy, but with fish.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's our kind of short thing. But
Right.
overall, like Vivvy is so much more. I normally talk about like, oh, here's sales, here's buy and sell and that, but we really are trying to create an entire community and a place where if you are looking for something aquatic or knowledge or community or just a one-stop location where you can get everything you want for your aquatic fish hobby. That's what Vivvy is supposed to be. So we've got education, we've got community, we've got buy and sell, and all that kind of all in one place, which is pretty cool and I think unique.
Yes, I definitely think it's good. It's kind of like bringing Aquabid and Facebook.
Yeah, no. So I mean, that's a kind of a good idea. Like Facebook obviously has a lot more of the social aspect than we are currently able to do.
Mm-hmm.
At some points, Vivvy's going to evolve over time, and we're going to continue to build that community aspect. But Facebook, you're not supposed to sell anything live, right? So, people that we're selling on Facebook or people that are still trying to sell on Facebook, we want to provide a place for them where they can do that, where it's not frowned upon. And Aquabid's always, they've been around forever. They're always going to be a thing. They've got a place. But I think what Vivvy does is we take technology, modern technology, and we make it a lot easier for people to find exactly what they want. We have a lot of pictures. We have, less ads, and really just, finding ways where people can filter out different aspects and get exactly what they're looking for, which is pretty cool.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. I like the fact that it just kind of brings everything together in one place. That way, if it works out and it works really good, then you don't need Aquabid. You don't need Facebook. You just go to one place and get it all done.
Like obviously, I would prefer everyone to use Vivvy, but as I say to everyone, like Aquabid has a place. It is what it is. You have in everything else, we've got Craigslist and we have Amazon. Like there's room for both, but we are more that Amazon and eBay and yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Well, we have had a lot more people fill in. Let's see. We've got Peplin Creek, Big J. Good to see you again. I need a dabba doo. I gotta say it every time. Let's see. Jumped. Lady Warshik. That's right. That was the other one. Good morning, Lady Warshik. Good to see you this morning. British. He's talking about a golden jackal that got hit by a car? The left leg was amputated, and now they're going to put a prosthetic leg on it. Oh my gosh! Wow. We'll have to talk about that later. All right. So I went in and I have created an account. I'm not home, so I don't know what I have to put that I can put on there to start trying to sell yet. But we're going to go through the signing up process, and you're going to walk us through kind of how things work on the site.
For sure. I want to kind of show people what to do when you come to the site, things to start off with, and kind of show you some of the unique aspects of Vivvy. Just so I don't think anybody's using us to our full potential currently, but I think that I can kind of streamline it so it's a little bit easier for some people.
Right.
Like most new technology, it takes a little bit of getting going before people can really know exactly how to use everything.
Exactly. Well, before we get into that, I would like to do our coffee cup sponsors, you guys. We do and have it open to everybody. So if you would like to become a coffee cup sponsor, all you do is have to email me, and Miss Lori can put that in the chat, and I'm pretty sure she already has. But these are our Coffee Cup sponsors as of now.
Okay. I know you guys want to go out. Come on. Go do your thing. Hey, glad you're here. The coffee's almost ready. Come on. And Annette, Mr. Snow Bunnies, thanks for making these clips for me to use in this video. There's always more room around the table for another friend to have cup of coffee. If you want to join us, send me an email to theaquaticmorningshow@gmail.com. Have a go. Set a spell.
All right. Excuse me. All right. So, Zach, let's get into how you want to start the process here.
For sure. Let me go ahead and share my screen and bring this up and see. That's not that one. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. You are there.
Am I live?
Yep, you are live.
All right. So if you go to Vivvy.com, this is essentially what you see is the home screen, right? That looks somewhat familiar for anyone who might have seen this before.
Right.
So first thing everyone does, usually they scroll down and they're like, oh, look, fish for sale. But I'm going to recommend everyone to go into the actual sign up screen. And then I'm just going to do this really fast with one of my emails that's not signed up. So sign up screen, like anything, any sign up screen you ever have, it looks the same, right?
Right.
And then what happens after that, if you get if you get a note saying that your email is invalid, then there's a good chance that you might have signed up during our cycling period early on. And in that situation, I recommend people just hit the forgot password button. And then if you don't get anything, maybe check in your spam filter. Because for whatever reason, there's a couple issues with some people, early on here. But just hit the forgot password button. That should take care of you. And then this is going to take you to a point where you just go into your email, and then you have to confirm that you basically just confirm it, which is, again, pretty common for any sign up. I'm trying to look at my email to find where that went. Come on, email. Right. Okay, here we go. No, that's not it. That's why I don't use that email. Come on.
Alex is offering to help anyone. FYI, if anyone needs assistance with your tank, send me your Vivvy link to a tank inhabitants. Its inhabitants and parameters would help a ton. And the big one, the And that one big use that can help us help each other troubleshooting. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the show. That's right. I love you some Jess. Well, thank you. Thank you, Alex. And thank you for helping everybody in chat.
No, yeah, thanks, Alex. And then we're always around too, and I'll show you how to get to the support stuff afterwards. So once you confirm your email, you come back in, you log in like I just did, go to my profile, hit settings, and again, just like you would anything else, you kind of put in, hey, my name's Zach, and then display name. I'll just make it Zach, and then fish nerd, whatever you want in the description. Add a picture. That's none of those. Again, this is all very basic, and save changes. Make sure you put a location in here. Go to address, book, especially if you're a seller. That's very important. And then what's really nice is you can add all of or most of your social media accounts on here. And I'll show you about that in a second. So this is part of the community. If you put in your Facebook and your Instagram and your YouTube, then we can, check you out and follow you in other platforms. So that's cool. And then account is just, passwords and emails. And that takes you
adding all of the different social media websites yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's good because like I said, I'll show some of the community in just a second. So this is all really basic, right now. So it's a little bit boring, but I've heard the comment that people say they come to the site, they don't know how to get started. So this is all very basic how to get started stuff.
Okay.
And then that takes you to tanks. Next thing to do really is to come in and add a tank. And tanks are a way where it's part of the community, but it's also a really cool way where you can kind of show off what you do, and then also show your buyers what you have. So or your sellers what you have. So say I had a tank full of shrimp is the only tank I have listed, but I'm buying a bunch of African cichlids. Possibly the seller could be like, hey, do you have another tank, or is this what you have? Because my fish are all going to eat your fish.
Right. Now, Zach, do you have to have this tank situation set up to be able to sell fish?
To sell fish, you need a tank, and I'll show you why in a second.
Okay.
To buy fish, you don't need it.
Okay.
So what I'm doing right here is I'm just putting the tank. I'm not even putting a description, but freshwater, 21 gallons. I use RODI, and I save changes. What is important to do after that is to come back into the tank.
Okay.
And this is really where you can like do the fun stuff. So I'm gonna put this tank that I just set up fairly recently.
So
this is the tank that's right behind me.
Silver Creek Aquatics. Good morning. It's good to see you. And we are talking with Zach from Vivvy, which is an online sale and everything news site. So you can hang in here. Don't run away.
Yes, please stay.
Right.
So I'm adding a tank. Pictures. Everyone understands pictures. Here's what's really cool. When you go into tank parameters, you could put in parameters for freshwater, saltwater, anything that you want in here. And that's really what's cool, because if somebody else is trying to emulate what your tank is, they can look at exactly these things. This actually is very important for sellers to do too. So that's something that we keep trying to get sellers to get involved with.
Right.
But this will come up in a few minutes when I go through stuff. So I'm just putting very basic. Here's what my tank has. Okay. If you don't have all of them, you don't need to add them all. But the more you have, the cooler it is. So this is basically the day I set this tank up. And then you go to tank parameters. It'll tell you exactly those parameters I just put in there. So that's kind of neat. And then other things you could put in the description is, look, this is UNS 90L tank. I've got a UNS surface skimmer, and this is not sponsored by UNS.
Right.
It's kind of a kit, right?
Right. Yeah.
But like you could come in here and label all the brands and tell people like, this is exactly what I have in here. I have tissue culture plants. I have, someone specific's blue dream shrimp or whatever.
Right.
You could list it out pretty granular, exactly what you have in there.
Okay.
And I almost think of this as like a Mono's First Nature Aquarium book, that black one. Like you could, if you were an aquascaper or like even you just want to show off, you could say, here's everything that I have in this tank. And then other people can try to copy it. And I think that's really neat.
Yeah.
And then inhabitants, you can come up here and start saying, I have dwarf hairgrass. And it'll populate it, and it'll give me a scientific name, and I'll say I have 4, and then I could put that in there so people. So
it will automatically pull the real name of the plant and put it in the scientific name.
Yeah, and you can come in here and put Eleocharis, Acicularis, or Parvulo or whatever too, and then type in the common name if you want. If you put a species that we recognize, and this is actually really important for sellers, we need to recognize the species. But if you're just a person putting a tank up with livestock, it doesn't matter so much. Okay. But if I'm doing, not that I have one in here, but a Compressiceps.
Yeah, because a lot of us that sell just have bare bottom tanks. So.
Yeah, I know for sure. And you sellers are completely different, and we can have a seller conversation either offline or in another show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just put Compressiceps, and then what it actually does is it finds a common name that we recognize, and it gives you one. And then in the listing, we'll have like AKAs. But then it has the Altolamprologus Compressiceps, and that's just a Lake Tanganyika cichlid.
Okay.
And then
that's very handy.
And our whole goal here on the naming part is to kind of standardize naming throughout the industry. I think, especially in the saltwater world with corals and even shrimp, people are kind of making up their own names as marketing tools. And we want to tell people if they're buying one animal on Vivvy, it's the exact same thing as another animal under the same name. And we don't allow people to make up their own names for marketing purposes. So that's really kind of a buyer protection.
Now, does that work? Just an instance, because everybody knows that people make up their own names for guppies. So if you get a new color, it may be the same as the same fish that's been going around, but because for selling purposes, they want to make it new. Yeah. They give it a fancy new name.
So for guppy, the scientific name is the most important thing.
Okay.
Right. So if I'm doing, that was just neon blue guppy, but if I did like blue Endler, we're talking about things that I like actually have them a tank behind me. So I just got some Endlers from one of our dealers the other day. So then, update the scientific name. Scientific name is the most important thing. And then what we actually do is when we approve. So if you're just a user and you're just creating a tank, you can name it whatever you want to name it.
Okay.
We don't care. Like that's whatever you want. If you're a seller, again, this is completely seller specific.
Right.
If you're a seller, the scientific name has to be real, right? And then our chief aquarist actually goes in and he will approve the names, whether it's something that's realistic or not.
Okay.
So he'll look at the pictures, he'll look at what else we have. Yeah. And if it's something new, he'll accept it or he'll add it to our database.
Right.
If it's something that is like you're just trying to use this for marketing purposes.
Right. Right.
So like if you named a guppy, teal snakeskins guppy,
right,
we'll probably approve that as long as you have a scientific name that's right. But if you put it as Jess's Aquatic Morning Show teal blue guppy,
right,
we would not accept that.
Right.
We would take that first part off and just call it teal blue guppy.
Good. Okay, good. I like that.
So we're not going to allow people to brand their things
Okay.
necessarily.
All right, good.
So that's kind of like how, that's the basics of getting started here. So that's pretty easy.
So the Nano Aquarium guy is saying, so anyone can see what we post, or do we have an option to set privacy on who we share with?
Not currently. That is not a use. But this is
kind of
also
the-
not required.
the
This is
purpose-
not required.
Yeah, the purpose is like, if you don't want people to know, then just don't create that tank, right? I mean, the whole
Correct.
purpose of it is to be in a community where you're sharing the information of what you have in your tank and the information you want to share.
Yeah, and if you don't want to share anything, as a buyer, just a normal user, you don't have to be part of the community. You can just come in and shop around and look at other people's things and take
Right.
inspiration. But if you want to be there, we want to provide a source for you to do that.
Yeah.
So that's your basic setup stuff, right?
Yeah.
And once you take this into the community, and I'm going to switch to this one. If you go into our community, you can see hundreds of tanks now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pop on to Alex. I was going to do him anyway, but since he's here, then
He don't mind.
and you can see, here's a tank with some fish listed in here. Talks about the tank and the substrate and everything he has in there. And it's a biotope, so he's got parts of the world. So that's really kind of cool. Tank parameters, you have all that. You say, hey, I like this guy. What I'm going to do, I'm going to come over and I'm going to follow him. So that's kind of why it's cool. So you in this community, if you see things you like, you can click on the person and be like, oh, this guy's got some cool stuff. Here's a new guy who may be a seller one day. I'm going to follow him and see how it goes. So if you're following a seller, what will happen is you'll get an email every time they add a new fish, which can be annoying if they're just getting started, because you're going to get a lot of emails of people getting new fish. But someone like Alex, or just Guppy Girl, that's a good one. She has a YouTube channel. Funny enough. So I could follow her and see if
that is an awesome planner.
Oh yeah, sorry, I just screwed away. I just got away.
That was awesome.
So she does low tech plant kind of things, and pretty basic, but kind of cool, very accessible for anyone to kind of go after.
That's kind of cool the way she has that.
Yeah, it looks like this was like a full planter and then broke it off or cut it away and put another one inside.
Yeah.
I say, this is cool just to see what are other people doing.
Right.
So as a seller, what actually happens is if you are selling something, it has to live inside of a tank as an inhabitant.
Okay.
So I'll say that real quick, and I won't talk about selling really too much. But if I was Bob, and Bob's a very, very nice gentleman. I've spoken to him a couple times. But if I wanted to sell these Hillstream loaches that he is actually breeding himself, then I would have to first have them as an inhabitant.
Okay.
Then I would have to be approved as a seller, and then I could actually go and sell them. You can't sell something that doesn't live in a tank.
Okay.
So which means that as a seller, sometimes we have virtual tanks, and not all of our tanks exist. But that's a seller thing,
right?
Like this guy, Missouri Aquatics, this is a guppy tanks, so he's got them in several different tanks, but he's just in Vivvy, it makes sense to have one. But so this is kind of community. As I said, we're growing our things that community can and will do. But it's something that's fun to kind of be a part of. And I encourage people to come in and follow people and set up tanks, and you could be cute, so this picture brought me to this profile. And then I started to read the description, and he's saying, I actually found this tank at in a trash can, and I had someone help me take it and brought it home. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it held water. Wow, even better. And then other pictures, personally, I like when your tanks have fish in them.
Right.
But other pictures are, pictures of the, the tank, the fish in his
Yeah.
tank. But like that's kind of a cute thing.
That's a way to bring people to it anyway.
So, exactly. But like, how happy does that dog look?
Right.
He's like, why am I in here? What are you
Right.
doing to me again?
Dad, I don't understand what's going on.
So that's a community. And like I said, I encourage everyone to take a look and see what other people are doing. There's a lot of cool stuff on here. I think it's just going to grow.
Yeah. Alex said that aquascapers are talking about sharing their rare plants and design ideas.
Yeah, no, I think like a really cool way to do this would be to, you go in and then you have, how some aquascapers make a blueprint, a top-down vision, and they could show like, here's the original design, and they draw in what they're planning to do, and then you see as the tank evolves. I think that's a really cool plan. With the tank behind me, I set it up really like 3 weeks ago, right before I left for 2 weeks for, the AGA show, then Aqua Shell of Chicago. So I came back and it was full of algae because it's during that, planted tank algae cycle kind of thing. And, what I'm trying to use that for is to show like, here's kind of the algae cycle. So, I went from a clean tank to hair algae to, cyano to whatever. So that's kind of, what like, I'm going to have a progression of pictures. Like, here's the whole setup process. Because I think a lot of people, still newer people to the hobby, get discouraged with plant tanks while it's in their ugly phase.
Right.
So can we help them? I don't know. Hopefully. Anyway, that's community. Next thing we have is the Learning Center, which is just right here. What the Learning Center is cool for is that we currently have, I think, 300 plus articles about education and acclimation and quarantining. And we're continuing to write new articles and find different ways where we can provide people information.
Wow.
So I encourage people to come in here. You've got one on reproduction, again, acclimation, troubleshooting shrimp illnesses. There's a lot of really cool stuff in here. And a lot of it is coming from our chief aquarist, Matt Parkinson. So I usually do when people talk about Vivvy and the products, like that's me. But when you're seeing a Vivvy person at like a fish club talking, that's usually Matt.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about, fish for hours. Matt's great.
Good deal.
And then, you could, care guides or, whatever you're clicking into. We're adding pictures still. Again, we're still growing.
Right.
Care guides, inspiration. I don't even know if we have. There's something. A word cloud. I don't know all that's in here, but there's a lot of really cool stuff that we're building over time.
Right.
So that's cool. I encourage people to look at the Learning Center. And then in the shopping side, and this is where things, if you're like nerdy like me, things get like really neat. So we call out, say a couple things here. We call out when somebody is breeding fish on their own and selling it, rather than importing them or buying them from someone else or something else. So anything that says seller bred is bred by that specific seller, which
pretty much means homegrown.
Exactly. And I think, overall a fish that is homegrown, as you say, is going to be healthier. It's going to, be, a little bit fatter probably. It's not been in, holding tanks with 1,000 other fish the whole time. It's got a better chance of living.
More likely it's raised in the water, that you've got.
Similar water to your conditions. Correct. Correct. So like, that's a huge bonus. One of the original like ideas that spawned Vivvy was to find ways to give people a reason to breed more stuff at home, so we could didn't have to import as much stuff from outside of the country. So we really try to call out the seller bred stuff as much as possible. So you got your, you click on thing, then you can see, I see a price, I see, the seller. If I want to check out the seller, I can go to meet the seller. And I say, Fall Creek, he's located in Indiana, and, he's got, some other items that he's got for sale. And if I wanted to see all the listings, I could click on all of his listings and see, I've got some, I don't see a shrimp. He also does Aloisi shrimp and stuff too.
Okay, cool.
So it's got that kind of stuff, and then meet the seller. Normal details, you see this kind of stuff a lot of places. But I want to call people down to the care guide. So the care guide that's in the learning center is connected to every listing. So this will just tell you bristlenose pleco care guide.
Oh,
and some of those may be generic and maybe African cichlid for like a specific cichlid. But as we grow again, it'll get you more. So that's really cool, right?
Yes, that's a cool.
We also have acclimation guide that's linked down there. How do I acclimate my fish when I get them? Also kind of a cool, easy access form.
Yes.
What's really neat, so again, assuming the seller does their job and lists all their tank parameters, when you go to water conditions, you see here's what is recommended for the species in general, and then here's what they're being raised in right now. So that's really nice if you have something that's somewhat temperamental and you want to acclimate them in a certain way. Sometimes you say, oh, his water conditions are very similar to mine. This is going to be easy. Or you say, oh, his pH is 8.6 and mine is 7.1. This is going to take time.
Yeah.
Well, in Arizona, where I used to live and had a fish store back in the day, our water out of the tap was 8.5, 8.6.
Wow.
In Oregon, if you're in Portland, Oregon, water out of the tap 6 to 6.5. And if you actually let it sit overnight with a bubbler, it'll drop to like 5.5. I was having a conversation with Steve Lundblad at Wet Spot about this like a month ago. So if you put an African cichlid into that like 6.0-ish water, it's going to die.
Yeah, right.
So like that's what this is for.
Yeah.
So I think that's also unique.
Cool.
No one else is really doing that as a standard. Some sellers may do that on other platforms individually, but no one's doing that standard.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Most of us, if we buy, we have to ask the seller, what the parameters are or what they're keeping them in before we ever buy them.
Realistically, it's me asking the seller, like, can you please put this information in? We think it's important. Yes. So, cool. Very cool. The other thing that's really cool that, again, is unique are search capabilities. So you just search freshwater fish, you get here. If you want to go to specific items, say cichlids, I'll pop to cichlids and it'll take me to a page that's, all cichlids. And we have a decent amount of cichlids, which is nice. But if you want to get more granular than that, you can come in and say, oh, I want from specific sellers, right? Or I want what you see is what you get because I want a specific fish. So that's going to be, bettas, flower horns, corals, stuff like that. Right. Or I want a breeder pack that has, shrimp. I want 6 female, 4 male shrimp. Can I get a breeder pack?
So Alex was saying that it also already cross-checks what is legal in your state and won't show you stuff you can't have.
Alex, you're getting ahead of me. Give me a second.
Slow down, Alex. Slow down.
But like care level, I want stuff. If I want to say I want something that's easy, that is a carnivore, all male for whatever reason, that's all juveniles, but schooling. I can do that. Like there, you can, I'm not sure how many are gonna like actually show up right now.
Right.
There's a couple hundred listings in there, but so I'm not sure if they all match what you want. Or if you're doing plants, you could say, hey, look, I want a low light plant that comes in a tissue culture that is this or this. I think this is all really cool. Again, for the coral people, and I know there's probably not a lot of coral people on right now. But you could say, I want a 4-inch coral because I have a spot in my tank for it that is medium light, that has low indirect water flow. And you could really fine tune it down to like, this is what I need for this spot on my tank. So there's so much capability in just this filter. And And this is actually the part where sellers hate the most, because in order to do this, we have a lot of drop downs in the listing process.
Right.
But there's so much benefit to it to the buyer that it's really worth it. It helps us stand out.
Yeah. And Alex is also saying, he says, and I'll say it again, overnight shipping, several bags fit, only $25.
I'm getting there too. I got so much. I could talk about this for hours.
Right.
So Alex, since Alex brought it up, let's talk about the blacklist program. Vivvy in general, and we're going to have this in some of our Learning Center articles and everything. We feel we have a somewhat moral obligation to be responsible in the community. A lot of what this is finding a way to, kind of help the aquatic industry somewhat self-regulate ourselves, with the idea that we only offer next day shipping. We don't want to mess around with ground or priority or anything. We want people to receive fish alive or shrimp or whatever they're getting alive, and no matter the cost, right?
Right.
So one, we care about the healthy animal, and then two, we care about having responsible species and responsible customers. So we're not going to allow the sale of like Arapima. Or something that gets overly large, maybe a red-tailed cat, something like that gets overly large for your average aquarium. We don't want to promote that. So that's not part of what we're doing. We do want rare stuff. If you're importing rare stuff, better. If you're breeding rare stuff, that's stuff we love. But we don't want something that's going to get 5 feet long.
Right.
And then that kind of fits in with the blacklist program. We actually have, as far as I'm aware, the first live blacklist program in the industry, which means that we are constantly updating when Fish and Game in each different state updates their blacklist. The idea behind that, like Fish and Game, nobody's doing that right now.
Right.
In the live aspect. The idea behind that is that we want to give people a heads up if they're trying to sell something that's not legal. Other platforms, it's really up to the buyer and the seller to know what's legal where they're at. And if you read all of our terms, we have exclusionary things like there's always a chance we can make a mistake, but if we catch 98% of them and we don't allow checkout processes for fish that are illegal, then we're doing our part to be responsible. And if you're a seller, then like less stress on you to have to look it up all the time. So if you are a seller of something that is specifically illegal in a lot of the country, so piranha, stingrays, crayfish, it's probably a good idea to double check. I'll say that, right? But
for the buyer, it won't let you buy that fish in that state if it can't be bought in that state.
Yeah, and if you if you think you found a way that you got around it, once you get to checkout, it still won't let you. So don't try to buy something illegal on Vivvy. Yeah.
That's good though. That's a good. Now, y'all have somebody specific that is like keeping up with all of the blacklists?
So again, we are constantly we're constantly have programs running that pull data.
Okay.
So we don't need a person.
Okay. I forget computers can do everything these days.
So I'm a salesperson. I'm a fish person.
Yeah.
Our CEO is a programmer, right? So he's got his people that like make magic, which is why Vivvy is what it is. Like they've done some really cool stuff, and we've still got a lot of stuff to go, but they've done some cool stuff, and nobody knows. All right, and as I would say, let's not go over pass up the $25 next day shipping, 48 lower states. No matter how much you buy, like $25 next day shipping is huge. That's I don't know anyone doing that.
No.
So that's great. That's a great incentive to come to us.
Yes.
Also, as you can see the scrolling on the bottom of the screen, we're running a 10% off promo code through the end of the month. So as come and, you know, save an extra $10 or 10%. So that's awesome too. All right. Other functionality, watch list. If you're looking for a specific item, I could put a couple of fish on here, and then it will notify you by email when they're available. So if they're not available, if they are available, you can look up any scientific name, and it will tell you, or any whatever name. If I want a blue cobra cubby, I'll add it to the list, and it'll send me an email when somebody posts one.
That's pretty cool.
That's kind of neat.
Yes, that's pretty cool.
And then, you know, one last thing I'll kind of say on like user experience. Unfortunately, I got to pop to a different browser for this. Support. So if anybody is having any issues, support's easy to come to. We've got promoted articles. I've got seller support. I got buying and payment, shipping, talk about all that kind of stuff. Your Vivvy account, if you want to be a seller, or if you're a seller trying to get started, this is a good way to, you know, come and see how all of that stuff works. And then also, if you just want to get in touch with us and say, hey, or search. So one that's easy to search that everybody will want is how many photos can I have, and like what information, listing guidelines, or like the photo details. So if you go in and like a photo doesn't upload, it's going to be because it's too large most of the time. But this will tell you, you know, what specifications your photos have to have in order to actually work. So that's good. And then if you just want to, you know, tell us, hey, I like your website, I wish it did this, you can submit a request and send us a note. We like to, I keep saying we're still building Vivvy out in lots of different ways. So if you don't think, if you don't think it's functioning how you would like it to function, if you want to change something, I'm not saying if your one comment will make a difference, but if you have, you know, 50 comments, that's all saying the same thing, there's a chance that we can make it happen in the next, you know, several weeks or months.
Right.
So,
or as cool. People are going through other, you know, everybody else's things, they may just catch something, you know, say,
exactly,
you know.
So like, you know, in summary, why should I buy from Vivvy and not from somebody else? So like if you're not sold on, you know, all that other kind of stuff and the $25 shipping and, you know, our capabilities, and you just say like, I'm not convinced. One thing that Vivvy, or, you know, a couple things that Vivvy does that separates us out, since we are sourcing everything together on our platform, we are also managing the shipping. So shipping is easier for the buyer and the seller, which helps us get those low shipping rates. So we can bulk it together. Whereas if you're on another platform, each seller manages their own shipping. Once you start doing shipping in bulk, that's why we get the discounts. We are managing the payment. So if you've ever been worried about going on to another platform and saying, hey, look, this person wanted me to PayPal him before he sent me any money, like, do I trust them? Like sometimes that's a concern with people.
Right.
All of your payments are basically staying run through a secure server or a secure platform within Vivvy, so that there's no worries. If something happens, then Vivvy is going to refund your money if the stuff isn't shipped. So you know, secure, safe, you know, trustworthy payment options. Our DOA policy. If your fish all arrive dead, and hopefully, and this hasn't happened, and hopefully this won't happen anytime soon, the buyer has no liabilities. If everything arrives dead, then the buyer will not have to pay shipping or tax or anything. So we want to call that out. There are some places where, you know, the seller will cover the livestock, but the buyer still pays shipping. That's the buyer is liable for nothing if the stuff doesn't arrive alive. And then, if one or two items, like I ordered 50 fish and one of them is not alive when arrived, then we'll credit you back for that item too. So we just want people to be, feel safe and secure about buying fish online if they are scared, or if, whatever their worries have been in the past, we're trying to find ways to address that.
We have a question from the Nano Aquarium guy. He says, how did y'all come up with the name Vivvy?
Good question. So Vivvy is derived from the Latin word to live, vivere. So if you know Spanish, French, Italian, any Latin language, vivere is to live. So we're all based around living things. So Vivvy, to live, living, that's kind of basically it. So right now we are only doing live, fish, plants, shrimp, inverts, corals, whatever. So it's all that stuff. In the very near future, we will have the ability to start doing foods and then dry goods as well. So we're kind of building things out. We should have everything aquatic within hopefully 6 months. We'll see what happens on time frame. Yeah, and then what's really exciting, and I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Right.
Once we get all of that worked out, it should theoretically be relatively easy to expand to tangential parts of the pet industry.
Right.
So that's like a wait and see.
Yeah, right.
So, and I should say, up front, to be completely honest with people, the $25 shipping is currently there until we finish our real life shipping algorithms. So that could be there for 3 months maybe. And then once our programmers finish the algorithms, that will turn into a more realistic shipping option. And what that means is that if you live relatively close to the person you're buying stuff from, it could actually be less, could be like $18. Mm-hmm. But if you're across country, then it could be $40, $45. Right. So kind of get that out. And then when you do a fish search, we will allow the searches based off of location. So you can buy something from local closer to you to keep the lower shipping prices. Or you could choose to buy from further away from, say, a dealer that you see them on YouTube and you're like, hey, I trust that person. I want to buy from them. Still give the people the option.
All right. We have got a super chat or super sticker. Let's see. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. Vibes Aquatics. It's given us a $4.99 super sticker, I believe, or super chat. I don't know which one it is, but it's $4.99. And what we do around here is this. Surprise!
That's fun.
So that's what we do when we get new members or super chats or super stickers. Let's see. There it goes. Okay. So in about 5 minutes, we will be taking our mid-morning break, which is about a 3-minute run to refill your coffee, run to the bathroom, and then we come back for the second half of the show. So if anybody's got any questions from the first half of the show, throw it out there. Let us have them. Let's see. Fish Dreams, good morning. Good to see you. There's some other people that have come in. Where did they go? Das Aquatics, good morning. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Jennifer Weaver, Glass Box Swimmers. I like the name. Let's see. Misfit, Reptiles and Aquatics. Good morning, Brennan. Crown Tail Half Moon. Good morning. Good to see you too. And of course, Alex. And Michelle Wagner. Good morning. Good to see you too. Name was derived from Vivvy, life in Latin. There you go. Vibes Aquatics, good morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Why is it doing that? Oh, okay. All right. So, wait, I gotta get back to the bottom. Okay. Does it cost money to join the site if you are not a seller?
Does it cost money? No. Even as a seller, Vivvy does not charge you anything. There's no membership fees. There's no even listing fees necessarily. Nothing happens until things are actually sold. So come to the site, check it out, see what you like. There's no downside, So no money for buyers.
Oh, okay.
And no upfront money.
Is British. Okay. Good morning, British. And Eduardo, good morning too. Good to see you. Oh, I have the promo code off. That doesn't surprise me.
No, it's because we were looking at my screen, so it's like a 2 and a Z are really tough.
Fix it. Okay, what is it? Where am I messing?
So you had the ZZ. It's Z2 MSM.
Z2. Okay.
When it created that, we actually said So here's one of the things where I'll say straight out, here's one of the things where we have room to improve. Our promo codes right now are created on a random basis, rather than being able to say promo code 10% off October. That's one of those where we just have to figure out exactly how to do it on the software side.
Right. So it should be right now. All right. Yep. Sorry about that, guys. But y'all know me. So let's see. Was curious about the fees because the promo code. So is that off your first fish purchase or?
Good question.
Keep going.
So we actually set that up for this one to be all the purchases until the end of the month. So really midnight November 1st. So the midnight October 31st.
So no limit.
No limit currently
until October 31st.
There may be some if we were to do a deeper one in the future, and we'll probably have several that we do from our side. We may do a one-time use for 15% or something. Who knows? But as of now, this one has no limit.
Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics says, how much does Vivvy make off sellers, percent wise?
So Vivvy's fee is 15%. And then, the questions I get all the time, again, this is all seller side and we could talk individually if you want to about that too. For anyone who wants to reach out to me, I'm always available. Vivvy makes 15%, and that includes all credit card fees, and we manage all the taxes and all the shipping and all that kind of stuff. So if you were, take off 3% credit card fees, it's probably closer to 12%. But yeah, 15% flat.
All right. You guys. Yes, good morning, Eduardo. You're not blocked. You're not blocked. Okay, you guys. So it is time for the mid-morning break. So we're going to take 2 or 3 minutes to go and go refill our coffees, run to the bathroom, and then, of course, you guys know how this works. We will be right back. I mean, if I had it set up and ready, and I don't. Here we go. Lord have mercy. And the computer's going to stall. Okay. Here we go. We're going to do this one.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Jason with Aquatic Reptiles. Thanks for joining me. What the heck is that noise? Do you guys hear that? What the heck is that noise? A fish nerd.
got 400 tanks in every room of my house. There's not a prayer in the world of me finding a spouse. I'm spilling water on the floor and all over the wall. No matter if it's carpet, I'm ruining it all. I'm a fish nerd, a fish nerd, a fish nerd, a fish nerd. Scientific names just rolling out my mouth. I love cichlids from the north and plectals from the south. There's a whole lot of folks up in the fish fam. There's Corey and Bob and Jadron. I'm a fish nerd, a fish nerd, fish nerd, a fish nerd. Petco and Walmart, stop killing my fish. I'm tired of rescuing betas that are dying in a dish. Every employee, they just seem to be lost, selling Oscars with guppies, but at what cost? I'm a fish nerd, a fish nerd, fish nerd, a fish nerd. It's Saturday again, heading to the fish store. I'm addicted to fish, I need more and more. I keep buying more fish, and I don't have the room. I'll put them in the bathtub, let the buying resume. I'm a fish nerd, a fish nerd, fish nerd, a fish nerd. Doing water changes all day and night. I can't get the pH where it seems just right. I do 10, 20, or 30%. So many fish, they need to pay me rent. Fish nerd, a fish nerd, fish nerd, a fish nerd. Sucking up the water crap going up my nose. I can't seem to stop making fish room videos. YouTube, I love you, but you ain't paying squat. Gotta keep a real job, don't like it a lot. I'm a fish nerd, a fish nerd, fish nerd, a fish nerd, fish nerd, a fish nerd, fish nerd, a fish nerd.
Hi, Fish Fam! Are you struggling to gain new subs or followers? Would professional graphics,
Hey everybody, what's
captions,
going
and
on?
ads
It is
help
episode
you to sell more products?
140.
Perhaps you
of
need a marketing
Fishery,
strategy
and
that works for
you
your
guys-
business that is also cost-effective. You're not alone. Millions of businesses across the world struggle with this problem. Good marketing plans, poorly executed, cost businesses billions in lost revenue each year. What is the solution? The Social Media Lady, a digital marketing agency. This team of seasoned marketing professionals works with your small business to plan and deliver a solid blueprint to drive more traffic to your website, YouTube channel, and social media. You can check out our work right here at the Aquatic Morning Show, as we currently provide their social media marketing as well as the majority of their graphic design services. When you decide you're ready to level up, schedule your free consultation at thesocialmedialady.com/fishnews.
All right, all right. Hey, we are back. Aqua Balls, welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome. And Steven, welcome. Good to see you. We got the Biz Whizzle, Biz Whizzle, B Whizzle Aquatics. Good morning. I was going all over the place with that one. All right. Zach, I know that we can do a whole nother show on selling, but I want you to dive into it just
sure.
a little bit. Liquid Zoo Only Films, good morning, Matt. Good morning. All right.
All right. You want me to just go free form, or
Yep.
do you have any specific questions?
Just start out just wherever the most important you think is for sellers.
Yeah. So the most difficult thing in my mind for sellers is the idea that we talk about the 15%. You know, you get
Right.
that, and the shipping. We'll talk about that in a couple seconds. But the most difficult thing, it seems for me, is that people don't understand how tanks work on the selling aspect. And I thought this when I first came on board too, is saying like, if I have 300 tanks, there's no way I'm going to list all of those tanks.
Right.
Right. And because if each of the items you're selling has to live inside of a tank. So what we recommend the sellers to do is to create tanks that's sort of virtual tanks. So everything in this tank is this, or everything in this tank is this. So you could do, you know, neon tetra, or all tetras could be one tank.
Yeah.
Right. Or Resboras could be a tank, or it's almost a category more than it is an actual tank.
Like I've got 17 different strains of guppies. So I wouldn't want, I won't do one, and they're all bare bottoms. So,
So the one thing I ask is that all of your tanks have basically the same water parameters and water quality, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Aquatic Arts is a really easy one to look at this, because they were one of the first people that got on board and started really doing the tanks in the category aspect. So you can see, Resboras, guppies, all this kind of stuff. So the important thing is that every fish that is in a tank has. Oh, I'm not sharing. I thought I was sharing. Man, I'm terrible. Who invited this guy?
Eduardo. He's late coming into the stream, but he says, I want to know what this guy Zach is talking about. So Vivvy is a new website that does both sides. It's kind of trying to combine Aquabid and Facebook, in my words. But do you have a real quick way to say it, Zach?
Yeah, no. So really the easiest way to say it is that Vivvy is a new online livestock marketplace, or aquatic livestock marketplace. So we're finding ways for people to really create, find a way where they can buy or sell fish that they're breeding or that they have everywhere. And then also trying to create a community and a place where they can learn about different items as well. So kind of everything all in one about aquatics in one spot. But we are really kind of centered around that sales aspect.
There we go.
So yeah, I was kind of saying everything that lives inside of one tank should theoretically have the same water parameters, just because when you go at the listing, the water conditions for your current tank, that should be pretty similar to what they all are. So if you have 17 different types of guppies, chances are most of them have pretty similar water conditions. You could throw them all into one tank. If you wanted to get granular, you could have, different tail structures, like here's a delta, or here's this, or here's this, right? And you could do that. So all of this tail structure in one tank, all of this tail structure in another tank. And that's kind of what Oh My Beta was doing with their betas. So it's like Half Moon in one. They've got one for wild, and then one for, crown tail or whatever.
So in actuality, you're still setting up tanks in every individual strain, but it's just not going in and having to describe everything that somebody would do if they were doing like a full structured tank.
Yeah. And you can have as much or as little information in the tanks as you want. So he's actually, this is not the best example.
But the more information you have, the better it is.
So that's kind of how, in our like our support center when we're trying to have all the listing information in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things you don't have to have. There's a
Mhm.
lot of things you do have to have. But the more information you have in an easily accessible way, the more you're going to sell. The better you're going to do. The better your pictures are, the more you're going to sell. The better your descriptions are, the more service or more effort you're putting in is going to turn up on the back end.
Right.
That's just how it works.
Now
So
that-
if you leave all this blank, then you're not going to, or your tank parameters blank, you're not going to get as much success.
Right. Now, let me ask you, for those that are and do decide to
Got a sun behind me.
Right. do decide to sell on Vivvy, what do you guys do, I guess, to help bring more people to Vivvy, like
for sure.
to buy, I guess?
Yeah, no, that's actually one thing that's pretty unique about us is that we put effort into that. I mean, I'm with you right now, right?
Yeah, right, right.
No, so we actually have a marketing group that we work with. We have social media. We have we're buying Google AdWords. We're advertising in various different ways. Currently, we're kind of I've been at every show since I started in July. So I was at Aquashella Dallas, Chicago, AGA, ACA, Magna, like everywhere.
You've been everywhere.
Reefapalooza. I've been traveling nonstop for the past 3 months, and I'm actually trying to relax right now.
I know it's a little break here.
It's nice to be home for a few weeks,
right?
And then so we're doing that, and then all of our digital and online marketing is just kind of slowly ramping up right now. We've only been live for about 2 weeks, so that's not a very long time.
No.
And then we're still kind of, we joke about it, but we really are kind of cycling like a fish tank would. I get more sellers, then we try to get more users, and then you kind of slowly bring it up, and our marketing is doing the same thing, slowly increasing. You can't we can't put $30,000 in marketing in today with the idea that we don't have enough stuff to sell for people that if 10,000 people are on the site every day, we don't have enough to sell to them right now. So as we slowly build a marketplace, our spend in marketing is going to continually increase too. But we went, from roughly, before we opened and we first started doing our email blitzes and sale and marketing blitzes, we went from 100 people a day, in our soft launch period to like 1,400 people the next day. So there's definitely a growth period that we're in. And I think that, it's going to get to a point where you just see Vivvy everywhere. When you start to search, that's part of the advantage of some of our Learning Center articles too. When you search, eventually, how to treat ick in a freshwater tank, ideally it's going to pop up, a Vivvy, Vivvy care sheet for how to treat parasites in fish. So we want the sales side, the educational side, we want all of that to be, Vivvy to be the Google's top choice. And it just takes time, 6 months sometimes.
Right. I mean, 2 weeks kind of isn't long enough to give stats for yet.
If anybody knows how Google works with, and I only have a small understanding, but how Google works with prioritizing your SEO, your search engine optimization, it's a lot of it's about contact and interaction and use, right? So we need people using it before they actually put us higher.
Mm-hmm. The more it gets used, the higher it goes. Yeah.
So it's exciting. Like we're in a really exciting time, but also growing. So it's
hey everybody, what's go?
Sorry.
Oh, hi, Alex.
Trying to get it set. Alex just has to put his 2 cents in.
Always. Love that guy.
Right.
So we were talking about sellers, tanks, inhabitants. That's easy. The question I get the most after that is, what's this $25 shipping? How do I take advantage of that? What's that actually mean? So it's good to know that for the sellers, basically, once you go in to confirm an order, and then that's something really cool to talk about too, and I'll put it on my list. I can talk, again, I can talk for hours.
Yeah.
But once you confirm an order, you basically you just hit print shipping label, and we print a generic. You just print out a generic shipping label, and you tape that to a box or put it in a little pouch or whatever on a box. So you don't have to currently. The way it's set up, you don't have to weigh anything. You don't have to guess the size of the box. You don't have to like do any of that stuff. You just print it off and put it on. So all you need is a computer printer or access to one. So that's as simple as you can get for shipping, which makes like some of the listing stuff is a little bit more intensive labor wise. But once an item's listed, we're super easy to work with. So that's cool.
All we're asking, what carrier does the
UPS.
Overnight shipping go through? UPS.
So we currently use UPS next day air. There's always, I don't see us changing anytime soon, but there's always some chance that we would change at some point in the future. So yes, you would have to find a way to get that box to UPS as well. And we generally, tell people to put your shipping days in your Vivvy bio, right? So people can see exactly when you're shipping. Vivvy supports shipping Monday through Thursday, but I can understand why a specific seller may only want to ship Monday, Tuesday, or just Monday, Wednesday, specifically if it's hard for them to get to UPS on a regular basis because they have, a real job and then they're just shipping stuff on the side. So you can limit that down. We just tell people to be very transparent about it because we want people to know when fish are going to arrive at their house that they have to receive. Right. Again, we just want things to live as much as possible. But I was talking about confirming the order. So here's something that's really interesting on the seller side. We actually give the seller the ability to cancel an order that they receive. Why would you do that? Because it's going to be very distressing to the seller, to the buyer, to be like, I just placed an order and they canceled it. So there's pluses and minuses about this, but theoretically you're a seller, you sell 15 guppies and then you just look in the guppy tank and you see all their fins are clamped or something like there's we're dealing with live animals. It happens. Happens. And if you were selling that item on a platform like eBay or Amazon, they actually punish you if you don't want to send sick fish. Right. So we are giving these sellers the opportunity to say, hey, look, my fish are sick. You can cancel the order. Please place the order again at a future date, or, maybe I'll contact you or whatever. Right. So I think that's a huge advantage. Right. Yes. And again, we want things to arrive alive and healthy. And, what's worse in reviews, because we do have a lot of reviews. Yes. What's worse in reviews than sending sick fish, or a fish gets to a house and everything in the tank gets sick, and then you get blamed, even if it wasn't your fault. And they didn't quarantine and whatever, right? Of course. As a seller, that's terrible. Yeah. So that's a thing. So you receive an order, you confirm it, you print it out, you ship it out. For shipping, we ask that all sellers have cardboard box with insulation, like styrofoam on 6 sides, double bag with oxygen, or use breather bags, heat packs, cold packs as necessary, whatever insulation you need as necessary. We are available if anyone has questions about shipping. We have shipping instructions in our seller support center. There's a million YouTube videos, and I believe Alex actually has one about shipping live animals. So there's a lot of places people can find out how to ship fish if they are having questions. Right. And then what's also, in the future, 3 months, maybe we'll see, we are going to be offering shipping products at as much of a wholesale price as we can. So if you need boxes, we should be able to provide Vivvy shipping boxes at some point. And that'll be nice for us because it'll be more standardized and it'll be easier to price things accordingly rather than people using randomly different boxes. Right. So just trying to hit every aspect of what we need to do to make things work. Right.
Sounds good. I mean, I'm going to try it. That's for sure when I get back home.
And then, I keep saying contact me. I don't know if you want to share my email or my phone number. Like I'm pretty much available to anyone. You are perfectly fine to share my email with anyone who asks. But it's just zfrank, ZFRANCK at Vivvy.com. I don't email myself that very often. Yeah.
No way.
But yeah, no, sellers. I'm the one who deals with pretty much every seller. I'm the one who approves every seller. So feel free to reach out to us or just our support center. Things will get to me eventually, regardless.
I'm going to type it in chat real quick.
And then, yeah, if you see me at a trade show or a fish show meeting, club meeting, anywhere, I always have a business card on me, and I do have my personal cell phone on everything that I do. So to the disdain of families and friends, I generally answer calls all weekend long too. Because that's when everyone's home. Like if someone's posting stuff online, that's when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
it's true.
Again, that's again another benefit of us, at least right now, is that we are very accessible. If you have ever tried to put as a seller, put a claim into Amazon, you have probably been incredibly frustrated when you're like, I just want to talk to a person.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah.
We're working through Amazon for several years in my professional history. Like that's always an issue.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's what blows my mind that like even YouTube, you can't get to a person ever. I mean, they just don't have them. Just don't have them.
Body bags.
Yeah.
Do I need them?
He's saying, well, I would think he's trying to say not body bags, but
breather bags.
Breather bags, yeah.
Yeah. We don't currently. There are several places you can get some, and I don't really
now Aquatic Arts does sell.
There you go. Yeah,
does sell them because that's actually where I got mine.
I was gonna say I think Aquatic Arts does. There are a handful of places that do. When we start selling bags, our current plan, I believe, is to not sell body bags and just sell the breather bags. Now I'm saying it. But I think the current plan is just to sell your normal, like 3 mil plastic bags. But we'll see when we get to that. It all depends on the supply issues. Mm-hmm. Right. See, there was a time where breather bags were a little bit difficult to find. Mm-hmm. Like when we were doing our initial research, we were having a hard time finding them. Mm-hmm. And there's some things where breather bags just don't work for necessarily. Right. If you've got, a large cichlid. But if you got like a Oscar that's 8 inches, I don't know how you want to ship it. Good luck.
Right. See. I am not used to typing in chat and in chat.
I need my assistant.
Yeah. Now I'm a little bit scared to meet you, Eduardo. The body bags.
He's like, I did mean body bags. That's exactly what I meant.
Well, I think it is a good time to do fishery. So Alex does for us, as most know, a fishery for us every day of the week, most of the time. And we have a new one for this week. So here we go. Thank you, Alex. And if you have not subscribed to Alex from the Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, you are definitely missing out. So go get that done.
Going on. I hope that your week is starting out great and you're starting it out with me, or at least, Tuesday, whenever I get around to this loading and getting posted. Anyhow, today we're on episode 144 or 44 if you're in Germany and Quentin Tarantino is to be believed. Anyhow, we have an interesting week of events and new discoveries for you guys. I tried to keep it a little more optimistic this week, other than one episode. But, you know, first I want to thank you all so much. These are always audio dominant episodes. You can watch me if you want to, but you don't need to. The idea is that you can watch and just put it on and listen to it in the car while you're doing your water changes. And there are 4 episodes a week, so you get 16 to 20 every month, and you get them all at once, all in, say, you know, a 20-minute to 30-minute video. If you're one of my supporters. And what does it take to be one of my members on my channel? It takes $1.99. That's as cheap as I could make it. It's always going to be that cheap. I want to include everyone. And if you can't afford it, I'm not mad at you. I get it. It's all good. But we're going to start off an interesting story about goldfish. And I just want to let you guys know that is your support, along with the ad revenue. But really, these memberships are helping enormously in giving me the time to do research and to look through new papers and journals and to subscribe to them, which is expensive, and why we don't do visual presentations on this show that usually is featuring academic journals, because they'll sue studio me. But today we're talking about goldfish, and I want to thank you all for being here and being a part of this. But we have a new study coming out of Oxford and Cambridge. Actually, it's just Oxford. So we have a doctor by the name of Adelaide Sibu, and at the biology department at the University of Oxford, she said that we have now robust evidence that the goldfish can accurately estimate distances and show that they use optical flow and intellectual power to do so. These results provide a compelling basis to use goldfish as a model evolutionary system when investigating other evolutionary systems of animals and organisms. This is indeed a fine mechanism underpinning their system. And their cognition, as well as processing of thought in vertebrates, is not to be underestimated. Basically, goldfish aren't dumb. We're going to use the way they see things and the way they judge distance to learn about how other things do it. And you know how it's getting funded is basically defense departments and also AI, so self-driving cars, drones, things like that. They want to know how different ways of judging distance without being told from a satellite when they're cut off from that info, and how to stop, start, how to move, what's aerodynamic, what's not. We'll get there later in the week. But basically what researchers did here is they built a tank, and they started a routine where they would say, pretend there's an acrylic racetrack, like a drag strip, not a circular racetrack, but a big long line of acrylic tank, like 10 feet long. And anywhere along that line, when a red light would come on or when a noise would sound like a horn or a beep, they would give the goldfish a treat to turn around and go back to the start, or to stop, either or. And they found out quickly, goldfish in a Pavlovian way, like the dog and the bell and the salivation, all that, yada, yada, that they can go and they will hear that noise and then they'll turn around on a dime. So they remember the noise. They remember the cues. Wow, what a breakthrough. No. That's not the breakthrough. The breakthrough is that goldfish, without the cue, can remember distance, and within 2 to 4 centimeters, depending on the circumstances. And we're talking on an 80 centimeter long track or distance here. So basically, humans suck at this. So if we talk about humans doing this, when you tell them walk 40 feet, and especially if you blindfold them, or if you just put white walls and no markers anywhere, our estimation of how far we go, especially if we're not allowed to like count out loud or whatever, awful. We're terrible creatures at this. But these goldfish are like pros, and we were trying to figure out what the heck, how. So the way humans see is we have two eyeballs. Most of us, some of us have more or less, I guess. No, we don't have more. Some of us has less, but with 2 eyeballs, you've got overlapping fields of vision, and then you've got depth perception. Well, depth perception and how quickly you're moving and the awareness of where your body is in this equation allows them, any animals like predators and humans, to see with that the vision that's overlapping, the bifocal vision, and we can then judge depth of field. And by also knowing like a tree is X size, and on the horizon 100 yards away it's this size, and this is this size. And so there's a lot of processing that goes on with that. Sonar, lasers, things like that, they can just go bounce off, come back, tell you the time, figure it out. It's easy. But most animals other than like bats and dolphins don't use that system. And so they were wondering, goldfish, especially the kind with the googly eyes all the way on the side of their head, no overlapping bifocal vision, what is it that allows them to know the distance? So in this track where they were so expertly being trained to go to 70 or 80 centimeters and then turn around based on memory and a cue that they got fed back at the finish line, they were wondering, okay, so these goldfish are like 4 to 6 centimeters long, maybe 8 centimeters, some of the bigger ones. But out of 9 of them, 8 of them were able to do this within a day, figure it out, which was impressive. But they were also able to estimate within 4 centimeters, anywhere along a track that was 120 centimeters long, or a tank, basically. Now, the tank wasn't super wide, so they couldn't go way off course. And the distance was linear, so to speak. So it was all along one path. So they couldn't squiggle and make a path that was technically 70 centimeters and then had to be figured out. This basically was confining. So the time was just enough space for them there's just enough space for them to turn around. And in time, they could then figure out, different things. So they started with a checkerboard behind the wall with the setup on it. And so that way they could high-speed frame and see what is it that the goldfish are looking for. Are the goldfish, maybe counting in their head? And then with their lateral line, or maybe the feeling of water rushing over them, they know I'm going 4 miles an hour in this tank, and I'll turn around when this much water has passed me. Or are they looking at things, or is it both? And it turns out that they have a very different system than the human eye system is. And it turns out that the goldfish, they're estimating distance with external cues. And we were able to play with the poor goldfish. And, first we started with horizontal, vertical lines, like a tree along the route, basically. We did bars. Every 10 centimeters, there was a bar. And we thought, well, maybe they're counting the bars. And so we saw how good the accuracy was when there was something evenly spaced like that, like a bar. Because we thought maybe they were counting the grid squares. And even though those were teeny, maybe that's how they were figuring it out. So they actually got rid of half the stripes. And what happened when they first tried to make them run the course? They were off by 36%. So they knew something was off. Like they accounted like, I can't go that far. But if they'd been trained for 70 centimeters, on average, they've only go 47.5 centimeters. And so it threw them off. It made them think that the course was more compact when there were more. And it made them go even farther when it was the opposite. So what they're using is something a little different than we use with the binocular vision. So the variation within each goldfish, though, was not very much. And the optical patterns in their field, whether it was plants or pictures of things that, all sorts of symbology, didn't matter. They just needed visual cues of, okay, I passed this thing, I passed that thing. That being able to see something beside you that changed didn't work with pinstripes going horizontally, but they were able to tell with any sort of imagery to the side of them how fast they were traveling. Just like the motion blur out the window in your periphery, it's almost like they're counting that and they know spatially by that. And so it's different because they're using the frequency of spatial and visual inputs to estimate distance when choreographed with time. So they're having to remember, I have this set time to go, which means this distance. And then they tried putting flow in the tank, so there was water coming at them. And they found as long as they had visual cues, they could basically calibrate for that and still swim the 70 centimeters and come back. And within the day of training, after this point for days, the mean deviation of this group was only 74 centimeters. So if anything, they would overshoot the boundary a little bit. Now they also tried scooting the starting point up a foot or two, or what rather like 30 or 60 centimeters. And they found they still swam 70 centimeters, with 72 centimeters being the average. So if anything, they're overshooting it just a smidge. But with that kind of accuracy, under, with less than 10% margin of error going on, way less, humans are at like a 40 to 50%. Like, it almost might be chance going on, especially on large scales, when you ask humans to measure how far they're going in a lot of these similar type things. But Dr. Cecilia Carlson also demonstrated this in the Picasso triggerfish, and they were able to accurately estimate distances of up to 80 centimeters as well, with an average underestimate, unlike the goldfish, of only 4 centimeters. 4 centimeters again, they underestimated, the goldfish overestimated. So now they're trying to figure out, what can we do to apply this to things, and how much processing power does that take? Goldfish has to have memory, sensory input, all these other things, and it's amazing. They have an incredible memory for a fish, for anything with such a brain structurally as simple as it is. They sure can remember a lot, from people's faces to things that scare them, to when feeding time is, to danger, to all sorts of things. So it's just wild. Other goldfish individuals and so forth. So it's really interesting. And yet again, I know this was a long episode, but I had to give an extra long one to the goldfish. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for supporting this. If you want to become a member and you're not yet, and you're still here, so you're still enjoying this first of 4 episodes, still listening, just go to my channel, click the join button, and become a member for $1.99. You can join for more if you want or whatever, but $1.99 gets you these episodes in the community tab ahead of everyone else, all at once, and in an audio in the playlist that says audio / podcast dominant. That's where you can find all the episodes up through the episode we're at now, and we'll be making them pretty much every day but Wednesday weekly, and they're on the Aquatic Morning Show also. So if you're watching there, it's good to see you guys. Hopefully I'm in chat hanging out, and I hope you guys all have an excellent day regardless. You're all so important to me, and just watching, being a part of this, just listening means a lot to me also. So hopefully the podcast, literal podcast format of these episodes will be up sooner than later. Thank you so much. Have a great week. I hope this is a good start to it, and I'll talk to you next time. Back to you, Jess and Skipper and Doc, or whoever's on the Aquatic Morning Show today. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
All right. Yes, that Alex, that was a great fishery, a little long-winded, but great as always. I love them. Please don't stop. And if you are not a member, yes, please do that. Go be a member of Alex's. It's so cheap. It's like less than $9, like $1.99. So maybe, or 99. I think it's $1.99. I don't think you can do 99 cents, but go do that. Go do that. All right. So in about 5 minutes, we're going to do the race that I was supposed to have done yesterday from Friday, the hashtag gerbil that everybody went and did on Friday that I just forgot to do. But we're going to do that in about 5 minutes. So Zach, what else do we have with Vivvy that we look forward to?
Yeah, no, let me just take 1 second. I love Master Aquatics comment, Alex breathes, man. Like, that's the funniest thing in my morning so far.
Right?
I love it, Alex.
Right.
All right. So, yeah, let me just wrap things up a little bit real fast.
Yeah.
Basically, everyone, go check out Vivvy.
Yes.
How hard is that?
Right.
I think don't just get stuck with the buy sell. Please check out the community, scroll through the tanks, think about uploading your own tanks, check out the Learning Center. If you're, paying attention to us, then you probably know everything. You don't have anything to learn, but check out the Learning Center. It's good. Check out what's in there. Look at the support center. If you're having any issues, feel free to send us a note of, hey, I wish Vivvy did this. get involved. Like we're really looking for that user interaction, and that's
that
what's
feedback.
exciting us. Yeah, and let's see if we can get more people breeding different things. That's one of Matt, our chief aquarist. He's really into getting people to like maybe try breeding different things that we're not really breeding very well in the U.S. Something like CPDs, some of those emerald tetras or rasboras, things like that we're breeding throughout the world. We need people here breeding them. Let's find ways to get people doing that. So it's all very exciting. So
yes,
come hang out with us and let us know if you have any questions.
Right. And at least try it. I mean, if you have any regards or whatever, just try it. Try it and see.
And then, if by chance you tried it 2 weeks ago and you're like, check back in today, or, check back in a month. And, what Vivvy is today is not what Vivvy's going to be in a year. And that's what's exciting.
Right.
We just want to see it evolve and grow kind of on its own.
Definitely. And maybe in a year, we'll have to have you back on here to go over all of those changes and how y'all have grown.
Hey, I would love to be on here anytime you would have me.
Yes.
So, or even if you wanted Matt to just come in and talk about fish stuff. I've been in the industry for 20 years too. So I've seen a thing or two.
Right. Yeah. And Alex can sum it up pretty good as well. He says, only $25 overnight shipping, free to sign up, to buy or to sell fish, inverts, and plants for breeders by breeders, ethics, care sheets, education, and sharing your own tanks.
That guy should be in marketing.
He is. He's good at it.
Thank you, Alex.
All right, you guys. Well, Zach, you're more than welcome to hang out if you would like, but I have got to get this contest done. And I do want to thank you so much for coming and being and letting us know all about Vivvy and getting the questions answered that we had.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, I'm actually probably just going to jump off, but I appreciate the time, and thank you everyone for being here. And hope to see you all in the near future.
That's right. Hope to see you signing up on Vivvy.
Hey, thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys. I've got a contest to do that we did on Friday. And I don't even remember what the hashtag gerbil was for. I know it was like all funny and everything, so we made it a thing. But I don't even remember what that's for. So I told you that I've slept a little bit since then, right? But I have it all ready because I was forgot to run it yesterday. So I'm going to do that now. If I can pick the right buttons to push, right? It's always a problem with me pushing the right buttons. All right, here we go. Let me find it. What did I do? Random. There we go. Okay. These are for those that day went in the comment section underneath the show after it was over and did the hashtag gerbil. That is over now. You can't go and do it right now, but we already have those names done. So these are the names that did go and do hashtag gerbil. So I'm going to make that big, not me. If it'll let me. It won't let me. Okay. So I'll have to do it this way. Okay, there we go. This is just a random picker that I pulled. Let's see. Oh, come on. It was for the fishery that Alex did. He said gerbil and people started saying gerbil, hashtag gerbil in chat. That's right. It was because of the fishery. See, Alex, you keep things going, man. We played the, I think it was the 25th fishery that you did, the number 25. So that's right, it was. That's what it was. Okay, here we go. These are the names that were on it. And if I can get back to it, I will hit spin. All right, here we go. Click to spin. Brooklyn Bell. Looks like it did. It stopped on Brooklyn Bell. We have a winner, Brooklyn Bell. All right. Good. Congratulations, girl. Just let me know whether you want a keychain or you want one of the microfiber pillows. Either one. Just let me know which one you want. I don't know that you have a keychain yet. So just let me know. And I will put it in the list of things that I need to ship when I get back. The computer's sticking again. All right. Come on with it. There we go. All right. We also have the lineup for today. And it does look like Rico's stand is going to go live today. So after the Aquatic Morning Show, Rico will have his show today. All right, let's see. Live stream lineup for Tuesday. Miss Dee Dee, thank you for doing this for us every day. It is such a blessing. I don't have to. It wouldn't get done. Here we go. Tuesday lineup from Miss Dee Dee. Dee Dee's Findin.
And now for your Tuesday and Wednesday live streams at Eastern Standard Time. And at 10 is the Aquatic Morning Show on the Aquatic Morning Show channel. That's Jess and the crew. Hope to see you there. And at 5, it's Fishy Talk on the Lefty 32138 channel. And it's the Danica Aquatics members only stream at 6. And it's Whizzle Aquatics at Hippie John the Fisherman, 7:30, Whizzle's channel. At 8:30, it's Scruffy CD Aquatics with Mitch. And at 8:30, it's Tuesday Shenanigans with Furlough and Eddie on Furlough's channel. At 9 o'clock, it's none other than Bentley Pasco. Go learn you something over there. And also at 9, it's Catfish Terry. Yeehaw! And it's the Rock Pile. Eric Wyrock, 10 p.m. And at 10 o'clock, you can come have a beverage with Dr. Black on Dr. Black's 66. And at 11:30, it's Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics. That's Brandon. And that's it for the Tuesday live streams. And now for Wednesday. At 9:30, it's Father Fish. Joe's Shrimp Shack, 11 a.m. And it's the members only stream on the Aquatic Morning Show at 12:05. And at 5, it's Brienne's Fish Fam weekly hangout. Go over and see the Farrells. Great folks over there. And it's Bob and Pam on Kaler's Aquatics at 6. And at 7 p.m., it's Poseidon's Pets. Who loves shrimp? I love shrimp. Watch Papa Shrimp at 8 p.m. It's Dan's Fish at 9 p.m. And also at 9 is Primetime Aquatics with Jason and Joanna. At 10:30 is the Steamy McStreamy stream with Stephen P., Jenna P., Bex, and Annette. Come and find out what the fish is going on here. 10:30. And at 11 o'clock is Punchy Paints. That's Pam and Bob. And if you need your channel added or updated to the fishfam.link, send Liquid Zoo OnlyFins an email, which that can be found on fishfam.link as well. And also, you can now sign in with Google and make your own changes. Pretty cool, huh? Christmas will be here before you know it. Liquid Zoo, Matt. Thanks for making this information easy to find at fishfam.link. And Lefty32138, thanks for your live stream calendar on your site as well. And if you haven't already done so, why don't you go over there and become a patron of fishfam.link. You'll be glad you did.
Yep, we're in trouble.
Y'all might be glad.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you for being here and going with Zach, with Vivvy. Zach, thank you very much for coming on the show and being a part of it and answering the questions that we needed answered. Looks like I've got to end the show like 6 minutes early because of a schedule change with my sister. So y'all know what's going on there. Tomorrow, we probably will have a members only stream. So if you make sure you are a member to be a part of that, there is just a $2.99 at the bottom of the tier. But if you want top tier, then you do get to choose a pair of guppies. All you do is have to pay the shipping when I get back home. So anyway, you guys, thank you guys for being here. Everybody in chat, we did get up to 51 people today. That was great at the highest. So with that, you guys, thank you for being here. And the super stickers and super chats. Thank you. It's all thank you very much. You guys need to go check out fishfam.link. You can get all your information there that has to do with the Fish Fam. And it seems that Alex is also going to have a stream tonight. Would be the time for us would be 8 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. So go to Rico Stand now, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys.